You can definitely tell the new championship season is right around the corner because the rumour mill is really starting to ramp up now. We're back for another episode of the championship transfer rumour roundup. Plenty to discuss in today's video. And without any further ado, let's jump in. We saw Cardiff snapping up Yates on a free transfer upon his contract running out with Reading. We were expecting Mate to get a move back to the championship. And to be honest, in Cardiff's situation, I quite like this deal. Yes, he has had his injury problems over the last few seasons and that will need to be addressed. I think in the last 3 championship seasons he's not made over 20 starts in any of those, but he is a player who knows how to find the back of the net. In 3 of his 6 seasons with Reading he hit double figures for goals in the championship and will bring that dynamic to that Cardiff squad next season, who definitely struggled in the final third a lot of the time. Kane Wilson has completed the move over to Derby County. We briefly discussed this one last time. It's a shame really that the move didn't work out to Bristol City. He had such a promising season in League 2 with Forest Green Rovers, one of the outstanding wing backs in that division, and maybe the step back down to League 1 to a side like Derby, who are expected to be pushing up and chasing promotion, would be a better fit for Kane Wilson to get that regular game time and maybe get himself back up and going again. And the player going in the opposite direction, we did see Bristol City getting that deal over the line for Jason Knight. Very excited about this one and the potential that Knight has in that Bristol City side. We spoke about him in a little bit more detail in last time's video, but this deal has since gone through and I'm excited to see what he can offer in that Bristol City midfield. Will bring a bundle of energy for sure. In the end, it was Southampton who have managed to land a deal for free agent Ryan Manning. Every championship club was seemingly in the market for Manning after an outstanding season with Swansea last time around, it has to be said. One of the best fullbacks / wing backs in the EFL last season, I thought, and Russell Martin's got his main man there. Mark Bowler has left Middlesbrough for a move to Samsonspor for an undisclosed fee. No real surprise this one. Bowler had been a solid squad player for Borough over these past couple of seasons, but the player going in search of first team football, I'm sure this will go ahead and ramp up Middlesbrough's intent to sign a new left-sided defender. Was a useful player, I thought, Bowler, to be fair, someone who can play a couple of roles as a left-sided centre-half or as a wing-back as well. We also saw Merseyside Preston North End completing a deal for Mads Forrikar Jensen. Very excited to see how he does in a North End shirt. We were crying out for some more creativity in our midfield, obviously after the departures of Daniel Johnson and Josh Onomah, and we have added just that. Watching a few compilations of him and looking into some of his underlying numbers, looks like a bit of a creative gem really. Has the eye of a needle sort of pass, loves to thread a through ball and drive forward, and I'm very excited to see the potential Danish link up between him and Emil Rees next season when Rees gets himself back fit. So a fee of around about 1.1 million currently being banded about. I'm quite excited to see how he does in the North End shirt next season. And we also saw Preston getting a deal over the line for Dwayne Holmes coming over from Huddersfield Town. Now, to be honest, because it's sort of a double deal that we've done recently of getting Jensen in along with Holmes, I like those two as a pair. Was a bit more pensive if it was just Holmes coming in as the DJ replacement, but I think the way North End fans will look at this is Jensen probably coming in as that DJ replacement, Holmes comes in to fill that spot which was occupied by Onomah last season, and looking at it from that point of view, I could definitely see the value of someone like Holmes in the North End squad next season. Tatsuhiro Sakamoto completes his move over to Coventry as well. We discussed this one last time in the rumours section of the video, but very much looking forward to seeing how the 26-year-old Japanese international gets on in the championship. Had a good season last time around in Belgium, providing 6 assists, looks to be quite the natural chance creator from that right hand side. 1.7 chances created per game in the Belgian league last season, along with 1.3 dribbles. I'm sure he'll add a little bit of flair and creativity to that side next season. But those are some of the done deals we've seen go through in the championship over the past few days. Now, without any further ado, let's jump into the rumours. As of recording, it is being reported that Swansea are on the verge of completing a deal for Blackpool forward Jerry Yates. Now, I think we all were expecting Yates to get his move back to the Championship after scoring 14 goals, providing 4 assists for a pretty average Blackpool side last season. Don't think many were expecting him to stick around with Blackpool in League 1 next season. Now, the interesting part about this is the actual transfer fee involved. Blackpool were in a bit of a sticky situation as Yates only had 1 year left to run on his contract. contract. They were said to be valuing him at around about the 5 million mark, but as it's currently being reported, Swansea have struck a deal for around about the 2.5 million mark, which I think is a great deal for them. 26 years old, can play in a variety of roles. There were times last season where Blackpool shoved him out wide a little bit, certainly a hard worker and someone who knows how to find the back of the net. Now the addition of Yates is going to ramp up the exit speculation for Joel Perreault. I'm sure that the incoming Yates will soften the blow of losing Perreault a little bit this summer, with a deal expected to go through at some point. It's just a question of where Perreault ends up really. He's only got a year left to run on his contract, but because of the amount of sides interested right now, there's every chance that we do get this situation where we get a little bit of a bidding war on our hands, and maybe that price is really hiked up. You know, we've seen what Coventry have reportedly got for Victor Gyökeres, for example, and he's only got a year left to run on his contract. Both Atalanta and Leicester have reportedly held further conversations regarding Perreault this week. We've then got the likes of Everton, Nottingham Forest and Southampton, who have also made inquiries, as well as Leeds, who are also keeping tabs on the forward. Had a little bit of an update on the Tahith Chong situation. We know he's been heavily linked with the move to Luton throughout the summer transfer window. We've spoken about him on quite a few videos so far. Well, it's now being suggested that a £5 million deal could be in place for Chong to move over to Luton. Now, in terms of what this would mean for Birmingham, I think they originally spent around 1.5 million on Chong to get him from Man United last summer after a successful loan spell. Man United are expected to have a pretty hefty sell-on clause as part of that deal when they sold him to Birmingham, but Birmingham would still flip a quick profit, albeit probably not as big as some Blues fans would have hoped for. And there's every chance that, you know, over these next few years, as Chong continues to develop, he'll be worth more than that 5 million. But as Championship clubs, we are in the business of flipping players for quick profits a lot of the time, and in the situation that Birmingham are in, might be a deal that they can't turn down right now. We've also had an update in the Tom Cannon situation from the last time. It was previously reported that Sunderland were looking to do a permanent deal for the Everton forward and hope that a deal of around 3 million could be struck, but it's since been revealed that Everton value Cannon significantly higher than that, and Sunderland are prepared to move on to other targets. Now Cannon could still be made available for a loan deal to Championship clubs this summer. Preston have already spoken to Everton twice regarding a potential loan deal. Obviously he did fantastically well while out on loan at Preston in the second half of last season. I'm just worried that we'll end up in a similar situation to what we found ourselves with Cameron Archer last summer, when we were desperately trying to get him back on loan, only for no such deal to materialise, and ultimately in January he ended up at Middlesbrough instead. There's also been a little bit of talk around Blackburn's interest in Cannon as well, and potentially a swap deal which could be in place between Adam Wharton and Tom Cannon, but I think that one maybe is a little bit far-fetched at this stage, albeit Everton do hold an interest in Adam Wharton right now. Plenty of clubs are in the market for a goalkeeper right now, and Asmir Begovic is being fancied by a few sides. Luton, obviously newly promoted to the Premier League, looking for a goalkeeper. Begovic has been on their radar, as well as QPR and Watford, who I've also seen mentioned. There has been a few rumblings that Watford may be willing to let Daniel Bachmann leave this summer, and so they will then be looking for a goalkeeper. And QPR, the link there is obvious after Seny Dieng made that move over to Middlesbrough. Ruben Vinagre is expected to complete his loan deal over to Hull in the coming days. May have had a further update by the time you guys are watching this one. Now there is the buy option included in this season-long loan, which is set at around about 15 million euros, which, I mean, I'd be very surprised if Hull triggered. I know they've got money to spend with this new backing, but I mean, I think they'd have to be promoted for any such permanent deal to go through. I believe Everton also held a similar option to purchase him on a permanent deal when they had him on loan last season, but obviously didn't take up that option as he barely featured for them. But an exciting deal for Hull nonetheless, gives them an extra option down that left-hand side. We now know the future of Leeds United star Rodrigo, as he now looks to be heading off to Qatar, according to Fabrizio Romano, to Qatari side Al Rayyan. Now, we have spoke about Rodrigo quite a bit on the channel so far. There were several links to the Premier League and La Liga. Everton at one point said to be weighing up a move for the Leeds United star. I don't think many Leeds fans expected him to stick around for this season in the Championship either. Everton are said to be stepping up their interest in Leeds United star Wilfried Gnonto. Now, Gnonto is a player who I would love to see in the Championship next season. We got to see some real flashes of his quality last time in the Premier League, and it's no surprise to see plenty of suitors lining up a move for him at the moment. But in terms of players that I could see absolutely thriving in this division under a manager like Daniel Farke in the right system. Gnonto is absolutely one of those players. It's being talked about at the moment that Everton could look to pay a fee of around 19 million to prize him away from Leeds, but as of recording, no such deal has yet been agreed. Along with Everton, the likes of Aston Villa, Juve and Inter Milan have also been linked. Manchester City youngster Carlos Borges is being linked with a move to Southampton, but they're not the only club interested. The likes of Nottingham Forest, Leicester and Bournemouth have also been linked with the young dynamic forward. Now, in the Premier League 2 last season, Borges was one of Manchester City's outstanding players, and it seems like that next stage of his development probably will be a loan spell out somewhere. Plenty of clubs are interested in Coventry forward Matty Godden. The likes of QPR, Ipswich and Derby have all been linked of late. Now, Godden's an interesting one, no doubt about it. When he's fit and available on the pitch, he's one of the most clinical players, I think, in the Championship. Over the last 3 seasons, Godden's averaged a goal contribution at Coventry every 152 minutes, which is an outstanding return. The only drawback you have with him is his fitness and unreliability at times because of that. Cov fans, what do you make of these rumours and what would you personally do with Godden? Both Brentford and Southampton have been linked with the move for Swansea defender Nathan Wood. I think it's going to be quite the regular occurrence throughout this window that Southampton are linked with Swansea players. Quite a bit of dialogue at the moment, different reports coming out about a potential valuation of the player. I've seen price tags ranging from 4 to 7 million, but Swansea could yet hold out for more than that for the up-and-coming defender. Troy Deeney is a free agent and available on the market right now. Sheffield Wednesday have been the latest club to be linked with the former Birmingham and Watford forward. Now, a little bit pensive over this deal from a Sheffield Wednesday point of view, just because looking over that Wednesday squad right now, it is already pretty old. One of the oldest squads, if not the oldest squad, I think, in the Championship next season. And would adding a 35-year-old Deeney do much to change the balance of that squad and the dynamics in the forward areas they have at the pitch at the moment? I'm not so sure. Birmingham continuing to be linked with a move for Oliver Burke. He spent the second half of last season out on loan with Millwall. I think that at one point we perhaps misprofiled Burke a little bit when people thought he was going to be this, dynamic, prolific goal scorer in the Championship, and he's not quite that, but I still think would offer something to a lot of Championship sides. With Harvey Barnes' exit from Leicester looking likely, they're currently in the market for a forward or two, and Steffi Mavididi has been the latest player linked with the Foxes. An interesting transfer link. The forward came up through the Arsenal Academy, and I do remember him having a short loan spell with my side Preston back in 2017. You could tell then that he was still very much developing as a player and he wasn't quite ready for Championship football, but since that point he's really gone on to grow. Had a short spell with Juventus, but really has made a name for himself in France for Montpellier. 21 goals in 96 appearances, can play anywhere across the forward line and would be a dynamic forward that I'd be excited to see back in the Championship after all these years. And as of recording, it now appears as if Bournemouth are leading the race for Bristol City youngster Alex Scott. We spoke last time about the links to West Ham. Tottenham still very much an active player in this one as well, along with a whole host of other Premier League clubs, but Bournemouth are reportedly prepared to pay that 25 million asking price that Bristol City currently have on his head. And from a footballing perspective, I actually think that Bournemouth could be a decent environment for him. We've seen them investing into the Championship in the past, how well someone like Marcus Tavernier's done at Bournemouth, for example, after he moved over from Middlesbrough last summer. With their new manager there and ownership structure, yeah, I could see some truth to that one. Luis Palma is being linked with a move to Watford. Quite an exciting transfer link, this one. It's currently being discussed that a loan deal could go through, potentially with an option to buy in that deal as well. Just had a very good season in the Greek Super League, scoring 11 goals in 28 appearances. Previously attracted interest from the likes of Rangers and Manchester United. But those are some of the latest transfer rumours we have seen going around the Championship. Any others that we did miss today, make sure to get them in the comments down below. But apart from that will now wrap it up for today's video, guys. Thank you very much for tuning in. If you did enjoy, do leave a like and stick around and subscribe for some regular Championship content. And I'll see you all in the next one.